Hello there guys, David the Joke here, and today what we're going to be looking at is two modes that EA have seemed to have forgotten about. So career mode and pro clubs, and what I want, or what I think can be done to, I want to say improve them, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Before I get into it, if you could drop a thumbs up now, because you won't want to do it at the end of the video, and please give any comments that you can, whether you agree, whether you disagree, what you want to see added in, what you want to see taken out, and finally make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn your bell on. And let's get started.
Shut up and sit down.
So career mode. Now it's been so long. It's been too long since career mode got any sort of shake up. Let's be honest. Who didn't look at FIFA 18 and think, well, the transfer negotiations are going to get boring after first way through the July transfer window? Don't get me wrong, I think it was an upgrade, and you know there was talk about interviews and stuff like that, but it's just nothing. There's been no changes. As soon as it gets boring, then you just click on delegate and just ignore it anyway. Now, obviously I know online gaming is the main thing now, but call me old-fashioned, I used to love playing career mode. You know, I'd spend ages, either I would be playing on my own or playing with my brothers, trying to build up teams, managing finances, you know, negotiating transfers, stuff like that. It's why Football Manager is still one of the most played games out there. But for me, career mode could be so much more than it is, and I know everyone else in the community says it as well. So to improve career mode, we need more depth. It's simple as that. The things that I'm going to be talking about, most of it was already in FIFA. They've just took it away for some reason. It used to be there, now it's not. It doesn't make any sense. So things like finances, stadium builders or stadium upgrades, player growth systems, most of the stuff that I'm going to look at was in things like FIFA 11. For me, FIFA 11 is the best career mode that there has been so far. So if we have a look, you could increase your transfer budget by picking sponsorship deals, and then what they would do is they'd give you a signing on bonus, season aims, and then a match bonus for your home games as well, and then that all went into your transfer budget. Brilliant, right? But where is it? It's just gone. And it'd be so easy to put it back in without bugging anyone out as well, because you just use pretend sponsors. So I don't know what, Koki Cozy, Dansung, X Basket, anything you wanted to. And because they're fake sponsors, you don't have to worry so much about licensing or anything like that. So in FIFA 11, you could upgrade staff, whether it be coaches, scouts or stadium managers. Great, yeah? Nope, gone. And for me, stadiums are one of the biggest things, and for a lot of FIFA fans, one of the biggest things that people are annoyed about. Now I know obviously stadiums is all down to licensing. When you look at the big teams, you know, Man City, Man United, Tottenham's new stadiums in there and things, they don't want to change, alright? So they'd have to stay where they are. But do they? Let's have a look at Madden, for example. So we'll have a look at Madden because it's an EA Sports game as well. So they've got licensing, stadium sponsors, everything there. But in Madden, you can delete the whole history of a franchise. You can delete the stadium, the kits and the badge, move them to London, call them the British Bulldogs and give them a chess piece as their badge. And you're telling me that they can't do that with Etihad or Emirates or Sports Direct and say, look, the teams in the game will have your stadiums, but in career mode, after 1 year, you know, then the player has the right to expand their stadium, to alter the team stadium, hell, to delete the stadium and build the next biggest futuristic stadium that there is. Now, if you're saying to me you can't make those agreements, fine. Leave the big teams where they are, leave them, and then just make it so that imaginary tickets just go up, and then the income that they get from it goes up. But I guarantee playing with Man City would then get boring after 1 or 2 years because you're in the same one. Meanwhile, I'll start a League 2 career with Yeovil in Forest Park, Town Park or some other generic stadium because it's unlicensed, and then let me rebuild it, increase it so that as I go up in the leagues, I fit in then, rather than, I'm not like a singled out school kid who has grey shirts instead of whites because his mum's too lazy to wash them. And then my ticket sales go up as well, so I can compete with the bigger teams. Surely that can't be so hard to write into the agreements, could it? So the second licensing issue is with the kits. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, this one might be a bit easier on Madden because all NFL kits are made by Nike and they don't have sponsors on them. So if you were to delete any kits, Nike are still going to get the new kit anyway, so that's probably why it's a bit easier to make the agreements. But the issue is on FIFA, after 3 years of playing in the same kit, you get bored. If you're a League 2 team and you're into Premiership and you've still got the same kit, it's just pointless. What I would like to see them do is something like this. So there's already a kit creator in the game for pro clubs and things like that. And I've already mentioned sponsors a couple of times. But the best thing is Nike, Under Armour, those type of the makers of the kits, they're already in the creator kit thing with pro clubs. So why not? At the end of season 1, you get contacted by 3 makes. So Nike, Under Armour and EA. Down. Each one costs a bit more to choose. So you put your money in, you invest in it, and then each one brings in a bit more money from sales. So say Nike costs the most, but it'll bring in a bit more possibly. It's the risk, do you invest in or not? Okay. Then, once you've done that, you get offered 3 sponsors for the front of your top. So it could be the same ones at the beginning of the season, it ties into there. That way, they're made up again, so you're not, annoying anybody. Once you pick that, the brand, say Nike, okay, they will come to you with 3 different options of a kit that you can pick. Okay, for iSports Saints, so let's take them. And what they say is, you don't change the colours, because obviously that'll be changing the whole history of a club. But what you can do is, each one has a red and white theme, but you have a generic Saints kit where you'd have stripes and things. Then you have, let's say, go away from that and you have a plain red kit with white on the arms, and then you can go to hoops or something. For just as examples, why can't it be in contracts with the current kit providers to say the same with the stadium sponsors? Every other game mode there'll be generic kits, okay, but after 1 season of career mode, then you can customize it. It just offers more as a manager, more to the game. I mean, you could start to change arm badges a bit easier, with each promotion relegation. What I did see today is they are putting a star now on top of the badge for Champions League wins, so every little counts, I guess. So then we look into the financial side of things, which I've touched on a little bit anyway. So you've got your sponsors, and the higher up the leagues you get, the higher the sponsors will pay you. And then you've got your stadium, and hopefully if you can upgrade it, like I said before, the bigger your stadium is, the more tickets you get, the higher the income. Also ticket prices. There was a time where ticket prices you could pick low, medium and high. If you pick the lower one, you'd get a higher attendance, but you possibly won't get as much income, because if you had the higher one and you were performing well, you'd have a full attendance and a higher thing. But if you started to perform bad, your attendance would go down and then your income comes down. All of that then goes into your transfer budget along with player sales, merchandise sales, and you can use that to upgrade different things or buy different players. It's brilliant. So the transfer window is great. I love that. I know, and the negotiation side of things, I know I said it gets a bit stale, but for me, any way that you do it will get a bit boring. But the presentation of it's a lot better. Youth system I think is great. Maybe they could put a youth team into it so you could see how they perform and stuff. And then your youth coach could pop up and say, look, this guy looks pretty decent, this guy looks good, this guy looks a bit trash, let's get rid of him. But in terms of in terms of the training system and stuff, I think with FIFA 11 where you had the staff members attacking coaches things, I'm not sure if those would benefit at all. but definitely the staff members in terms of a youth coach, maybe a physio, stadium upgrade, mega store, the stadium guy, maybe he comes in and says, look, I've got this option, and maybe the higher your stadium bloke is, the more futuristic or the more special your stadium could be. My final thing is the player growth system. For me, it's just useless, it's pointless. Everyone grows the same. It doesn't really matter how they play, just that they do play. Morale is not a thing anymore. I'm sure that was a thing back in the day. You know, if you bought a new player, it would take a little time for them to be used to the team and stuff. So why not have it, the better the player plays, the more he plays, and the happier that they are, the higher or the faster they grow. I'm not saying remove potential, because anyone can then make Messi and Ronaldo, but just have it so that the way I manage the club, seeing as I'm the manager, makes a difference to how they perform and grow. So that's career mode done. Let me know down below if there's anything you think I missed off, anything that you would prefer to see in. Career mode is one of my favourites, so if you give me any feedback, that would be great. Let's get into the Pro Club side. Okay, so Pro Clubs, it has so much potential, not just as a game mode, but as the one that EA will probably look at more, because it's a different way for them to cash in, because, you know, we both know that's what really matters to EA. Now, for those of you who haven't ventured into Pro Clubs, I don't know why you haven't, but basically you make a player, you make yourself or an ex-pro, don't be a douche and make some little goblin or a Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi or something. You then play as that player in a team with your friends, and they each control one player. It's good fun, but the issue is that EA don't change anything, and this year's no different. So we know career mode and especially Pro Clubs are getting no changes this year. What I don't understand is why. Have they not looked at the success of Fortnite last year and think we have an exact mode in our game already where we can make some big bucks from it? Now, look, I'm not saying that they should start being able to build walls in front of defences or blow up goalkeepers, but what I'm looking at is microtransactions. So they've got them in, in Fortnite, it's the only way that Epic Games made any money. FIFA have already got it in Ultimate Team, but in Pro Clubs it could be different. You don't put it in as skill upgrades, because that will just kill it. Everyone knows that then the people with more money, or people who spend their money on it, will have the better team. But why not have things like kit purchasables, buying new badges, new boots throughout the year, new hairstyles? You know, it will just give a freshness for the pro, and it will make people want to keep playing. People spent ridiculous amounts of money on Fortnite just to have a rainbow friggin' umbrella, for crying out loud. Or, you know, think about what they're going to do for rainbow boots, gold boots, you know, stuff like that. It will give EA a second sort of cash cow in the game, and mean that they might focus on it more, and it might mean that they make enough money that they can focus on the career mode as well. Just a point though, I also think you should be able to earn the points that you buy through playing as well, and then maybe open up like drop boxes or something, so that people like me who are a bit cheapskates can still customise their players, you know what I mean? Oh, another thing, tattoos. I see a lot of people asking for it, and why not? They could be sold as well, so cha-ching, and it gives higher detail, you know, higher customising and things like that into the game. In terms of customisation, why stop with your player? In Pro Clubs, which we can create our kits or badges, why not open up more badge ideas? Maybe create a badge creator, you know, like on Black Ops used to have. There are some brilliant badges and logos on there. What else is there? Then you've got the stadiums, which I touched on in career mode, but why not have a stadium that you can customise from start to finish? So at the beginning, there's no licensing involved either. But the main thing is there's no licensing involved in this either, because it's all custom. So if they wanted to put extra things in at a premium, they could do. So fancy lights, different fireworks, flames shooting up when the teams walk out. It's little cosmetic things, but the gameplay's not terrible. I know everyone says it is, but it's alright, you know what I mean? It's fun to play. It's just that it gets a bit boring after a couple of weeks or after a couple of months, because we all play a lot of games on FIFA. And they couldn't think, you know, it'll draw people in straight away. That's the main thing. Then they could start to include things like this. So training ground. You and the squad come on and don't want to play any games yet, or you've signed a few players and you want to embed them in, get to the training ground and either have a little kickabout, take part in skill games, training drills, mini games, you know, see who's the best dribbler, who's the best shooter and things, and just build up a bit of team morale that way round. Attributes, player leveling. It used to be achievement based, so remember you have to do like 5 keepy uppies in the arena, and it'd give you an extra skill move. You'd have to score 100 goals, 10 goals outside the box, 20 goals with your weak foot, and all of those things would boost up your attributes. I don't know why they ever took that out really, because it gave you something to play for. Now there's nothing. Unless you're in a club, you can't really upgrade your pro, and there's no point doing drop-in games and having to put up with 9-year-old Bernard who thinks it's funny to play in goal and run. Now my last thing I think they should do for be a pro customizing is what they touched on in FIFA 18. So they put in the 3 different play styles, but what I think they should do is make it so that you have 4 styles: goalkeeper, defender, midfield, attack. With the defence and the midfield, have it so you pick left back or full back, left back and centre back, full back and centre back, winger and midfielder, and then striker and goalkeeper. What you do, you set out all the settings for each one, attributes, height, weight, so that you know your speed and stuff's everything that you need it to be. And then what happens is it stays there. So your player face and everything and your boots and all that will stay the same. When you go into a game, it automatically knows whatever position you pick, it will make you into that style. I don't think that's how FIFA 18 works, or at least it didn't work on my one like that. So I think that would be a good way just to make it a bit easier when you go in, rather than before each game changing your position and whatever. Now the reason I think all these things should matter to EA is because they could use pro clubs as the competitive scene instead of for Ultimate Team. That's what they want to do with the game. But right now, because you're using Ultimate Team, the pros have to rely on 10 computer animated players while you control the one player that they control at each time. Why not make it like a real sport where you have 11 players, maybe a bench full as well, and then they face 11 players, and then that eliminates the need for the AI, eliminates that sort of what's the right word, where you don't have control. Yeah, and then everyone's based on their ability. Teams can then sign new players and grow and push for titles and things, and I think it'd be massive, and then that would give the real competitive edge. But at the moment they're just too busy looking for money from the Ultimate Team side of things. So there's already pro clubs competitions. So you've got VPG, Virtual Pro Gaming, ESL, Pro Clubs Nations. There are different ones already out there, but why don't EA just think they can cash in on that, as well as Ultimate Team, as well as microtransactions for pro clubs? I don't blame them. I see people spending 250 quid a month on points for packs for Ultimate Team, but for me, in terms of a gamer, there's no way I'm putting that money into it, especially when you don't get anything back from it, really. It's not worth it. So that's my thoughts on the 2 forgotten game modes of FIFA. Thanks for listening to my rant and my ideas. I'm sure there'll be something that I've missed out, you don't agree with, you think that you know better. Maybe you do know better. Let me know. Drop it in the comments below, drop a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll speak to you later. FIFA 19's only, a week away now, so let's get ready for that. I'm going to try and make as many videos as I can as well, so you don't want to miss them. I'm DB the Joker, thanks for watching, bye bye.